Squira.
Both teams look like they're settling in to their offenses and getting those clean looks and finishing them rather than passing it up or missing the shot. So
McVicker connects on a pass near side. Ball nearly intercepted back the other way. There's Baker. Sends it off for McVicker. Screen from Baker as McVicker pulls back. Tries to draw out that defender and tries to squeeze the pass in a little too tight of a hole right there as the Packers player is going to step out of bounds. Possession going here to Hastings.
Yeah, good hustle by McVicker on the one end. She got the turnover, but then came back, hustled all the way down, and kind of guided her, I guess you could say, to the sideline, and she was able to step out. So she kind of made up for a turnover there, getting the ball back for the Raiders. And we'll see her a lot more. I think she hasn't been too active on offense, but really good two-way player, so I'm sure she'll pick it up.
And if she can pick it up with the game that the early game that Strain is having, I mean, what a monster big two for this Raiders team.
Yeah. And I'm sure McVicker, as long as the Raiders are scoring, she's loving it. But shot by her right away, not necessarily getting it going as much offensively. Maybe wanting to look a little bit more down towards the paint where they scored a lot earlier, but looks like Haley Strain is out right now, so it's harder to get those looks when you don't have that height advantage, but that's when you see the three going up.
And we'll see how her decision-making is as well, as we're going to open uncontested three-point shot and make by the Packers, Lauren Bauer. But, you know, we saw the decision-making a little questionable early on whether you should pass or shoot in that Tartan game, but she really settled in, and when she settled in, I mean, she could not make a wrong choice.
Right, yeah, that and also on the defensive end. She's not just a one-way player. She'd be able to make a bucket, go back, force a turnover, and then do the same thing over on offense. Like, she never runs out of gas, so we'll see. We'll see just her outlast your opponents like she did before.
Wagner on the baseline looking to inbound. And that gets pushed out of bounds. They're going to say it was out of bounds on a Packers player, so we'll retry that again. Sends it up high. McVicker. A little hip check there from a Packers guard.
Yeah, it's a way to go up and go get the ball from McVicker. A lot of times like that, a lot of people don't go and get the ball on that pass, and that's where you see the turnover and go down the other way for an easy layup. But she went to go get that ball. She was there first, so then St. Paul defender jumped into her, causing that foul, and she's picking up one for her team rather than giving them an easy layup the other way.
And McVicker checks out of the game. Mara Jackson now in for Hastings. Notch, the ball handler, sends this off to the far side. Pass incomplete down low.
Yeah, it's broken up. You can see turnovers early becoming a factor for the Raiders. Like I said earlier, they have that height advantage down by the rim. Oh, there's a charge.
Well, that's going to be the third foul here on the Packers.
Looks like Rachel Notch picked it up down there. That's another thing to get your team going, too. It's not as flashy necessarily as a good steal, but just going down there and drawing that charge, getting a foul on the other team also, but just standing in there for your team, taking the blow and giving it the other way is a huge confidence booster and momentum.
And not exactly as pain-free as getting a steal either.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the Raiders on a little bit of a dry spell here. They find themselves down by one. We'll get a three-point shot off a back iron there from Baker.
And again, it looked like they didn't necessarily let the play develop, and it looked like they kind of settled for that one. And I'm just wondering if they're going to go back down to what was working downside, down into the paint, getting those easy shots, getting those easy layups and rebounds. Because as soon as they steer away from that, that's when you see South St. Paul kind of climb back.
Johansson drives in, dishes out, three-point attempt, defensive rebound for Hastings with tempo. Notch looking to pass at the near side wing. Off for Jackson, driving in, out of bounds. Tipped in the short corner, and it's going to go the way of the Packers.
And so far we've seen about one scoring flash from both teams, but the game started itself a little slow, and now it's kind of slowing down too. So one thing that the Raiders need to do is reduce those easy turnovers, especially the unforced ones, whether it's off somebody's leg or throwing it out of bounds, just giving the team an easy way to get the ball back.
Johansson drives into the free throw line, sends it out, pass back to Johansson, who directs some traffic in that low post. Johansson worked their way almost into a double team. A 3-point shot. Bounces out. Defensive rebound taken there from Mara Jackson. Now we'll get the drive in. Pivot foot. Sends it off to that far side wing. Thought about taking a 3-point shot. Dead center. Out of bounds off of the fingertips of Monica Cheney.
Yeah, that's another one. I think the last 3 Raiders possession, there's been a rush 3 that was missed, and then a turnover, and then another turnover. So right now I think the Raiders just need to slow it down, cut a little bit, look for open looks closer to the basket, kind of build your confidence, and then work your way out.
And generally, we've seen them be a team that is pretty conservative with using their timeouts, especially early on. But do you consider taking a timeout just to maybe settle down on this offensive dry spell?
Yeah, honestly, I think that I would, and just kind of like put it back in your coach's mind. There is former principal Mike Johnson. He's sitting right across the stands over there. He retired last year. He's kind of looking, just enjoying the game over on those, or down on the stands, but he's on chairs over there. You can still see him in the background. He's always been a good supporter of Raider basketball, whether it's men or women, so I'm sure that he's having a good time back, so good to see him.
Well, he's taken the place of that student section ESPN booth that was there a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a shame. Sometimes the media just gets substituted for former players. It depends how many people are there, but still pretty prevalent nonetheless.
I don't know if you saw this, but I know Hunter saw this, but HCTV Sports was on, what was it on, ESPN Sports Center?
NHL. Yeah, for the don't know what we're talking about, the save in the Hastings hockey game behind the back, save by Keegan. So that was on NHL, ESPN. It was like ESPN on NHL, Fox 9. Just incredible. One of the best sports plays I've ever seen in person. I was behind the camera for that one. But he went behind his back on a breakaway save, somehow saved it, recovered it. One of the best goalie performances I've ever seen. That on top of, they had 55 shots taken, let in 4 goals. So he had, I believe, 51 saves, and that was one of them. Just an incredible performance for him, and helped the Raiders go into overtime. But that was one of the crazier things that I've probably seen in real life.
Yeah, that is just such a creative save, and we'll actually take a look at that at the halftime break. So I'm excited to see that and listen to the call again. What a great call as well.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, it comes easy when you're just reacting to things like it's not analyzed. You just kind of, your jaw's dropping, and you're trying to think about what just happened and just the sheer amazement of a play like that, and the athleticism and the training and everything that goes in. It's more admiration at that point. Your jaw's dropped, and you're like, wow, good for him.
Well, it's a good thing we had, a fan of the sport and the team calling the game, and, that we didn't have, say, Joe Buck calling the game. Otherwise, he'd be talking like me right now. I mean,
he'd say Aaron Rodgers can make a save like that.
He would. Or he'd tell us that that's a despicable act. Well, back to anyways, back to basketball here. Under 9 to go. Raiders fast break. And they come in a little too hot on that shot.
One of their better shots in the last few trips down, though. Maybe they'll continue to get those. There's another steal. That's her second steal in 2 possessions, Rachel Notch. But now the Raiders are able to keep possession rather than missing one down low. So we'll see if they'll be able to turn that second Rachel Notch steal in a row into some points.
Well, there was a look at Trent Hansen, the varsity coach. Also the athletic director.
Yeah, the athletic director who's also coaching, who's leading his team into an undefeated conference season. It's pretty impressive, I'd say.
He's just a 5-tool administrator / coach. Well, the Raiders lead up to 3. Low-scoring game thus far. Bauer trying to back her way in.
Yeah, but you see the Raiders once again. Now they're starting to realize that they have the size advantage in getting those looks down low, and a lot easier shots, whether it be a layup or a floater or a rebound. It's just more high percentage and able to get second chance points off of that, and it's just a lot easier overall than banking on those threes.
We'll also take a look at the Metro East Conference standings at halftime as well.
That, which we have mentioned so far, we have Hastings at the top with the 2-0, with Mount Amida also 2-0, but North St. Paul is sitting at 3, their one loss being Hastings. So it's pretty good win, I would say, for the #1 team to beat someone who's 10-2, and then that be their first conference loss.
Yeah, all you need to know, the cliff notes, is that the Raiders are on top of the world right now. Another defensive rebound here for Hastings. McVicker back in the game, pulling up the court, driving in, switching hands, misses the shot. Almost the offensive rebound there by Haley Strain in the middle of 3 or 4 Packers.
Yeah, McVicker getting a little creative there with what looked like a Euro step, and then was able to put it near the basket. Looks like it had a chance to roll in, but just kind of roll out.
There's Swanson defending on Bauer. The ball moving around the perimeter. Johansson was looking to pass, drives in, sends that out to the far side. Puts up a ill-advised shot right there. Another rebound there for Hastings. A little bit of a collision as McVicker pulls up the court. Johansson defending, too much space. Ooh, unfortunate rim out right there.
Just a lid on the hoop. That thing looked like it was going in through and through. She had the confidence, getting the ball, coming back up, pulling up for 3, just rolled right out. You don't see it go any closer than that.
A lot of space given there by Strain. A missed 3-point shot from Glory Johansson.
One thing, too, has been how well the Raiders' defense is playing. Maybe their offense isn't able to get going, but there's still 3 points. They've let up single digits, which is really rare at this point in the first half. But
turnover from Swanson. Breakaway, 2 points there from number 30, Alyssa Leos.
And that's one thing I think South St. Paul is going to want to do if they're going to want to win against a Raider team with a better record, is getting those passing lanes, kind of make it hard for them to get a shot at all, get those turnovers, get those steals, and get those buckets like that.
A missed shot there from McVicker. Looks like we'll take a look at the replay here on the steal and points.
Yep, and then like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, the Raider defense is playing really well in those situations. You want those easy breakaway layups. You don't want a chance for the defense to come back and just make it a lot easier on yourself.
Just a shade under 6 minutes to go before halftime. A rebound taken there by Strain. Sends it to Baker. Turned over. On a pass from Swanson intended for Strain.
Yeah, and those are always hard to get, those low bounce passes, especially when it's on a give and go like that. She's cutting down the lane. It's kind of hard to look up while you're cutting and then try to get the ball, but I think it was better before that anyways.
And we will get a whistle as we had Johansson trying to weave her way through a handful of Raiders defenders. And I believe that's Isaac Douglas, the head coach for the Packers. Looking to get a road win here.
Foot's on the line, it looks like. It's always a relief when you're on defense and you just hear that whistle. You don't really know why it is, but you know you get the ball and nobody committed a foul. It's just nice. You're like, oh, there's nothing else to worry about. They just stepped on the line. We're going to get the ball. Nothing to worry about.
So we'll have the leading scorer, Keegan McVicker, in the game, checking in for Haley Strain. Swanson calling for a pass. Sends that off to the far side, working her way back, top of the arc to Swanson.
Well, McVicker looks like she's kind of hurt in the corner. She was coming off a screen, and then it looked like she had hit it. Oh, she makes the cut and then gets the layup.
Wow, that is impressive. What a cut.
When she was holding her leg or her side, and then all of a sudden she popped up when her team needed her, cut back, got the ball, and then went in for the easy layup. Talk about playing through some adversity there.
I mean, that was some Adam Thielen route running right there.
Oh, yeah.
And the 2-point response by the Packers and Lauren Bauer, team captain.
So it looked like it's another point spurt kind of by both teams. So we talked a lot about runs in the Tartan game, but a lot of that was the Raiders going up, Tartan coming back, but this time it's just like blow for both teams, keeping it close.
McVicker drives in, sends it off, gets the assist to Kaflish.
Natalie Kaflish for 2. Once again, McVicker's driving. She draws a few girls. They know her. They know she's good. Kaflish on the other block, just posting up. She's right there, waiting for her to pass it. Gets the easy bucket.
And Packers are gonna retain possession. That's gonna be a foul on Swanson.
There's that replay. Ooh, with the 2-step and the layup. Easy money right after the little injury, kind of brushed it off. Just went in. I don't want to say it, but maybe she wasn't. Maybe it was a design play, trying to deceive them, thinking she was hurt, and she got the back door. But you never really want to reach that far. But you never know. And we'd like to thank our sponsor, the Hastings Public House, Memories Made Local, for helping us put on this and helping girls basketball kind of come to life on the broadcast. So thank you, Hastings Public House.
Oh, we'll have Scarlett Johansson here, 1-1, misses the one. But the offensive rebound, and going to get a whistle there before the shot goes up. Another foul here on the Raiders.
Yeah, that's another thing you don't want to do, especially when they're already in the bonus and they get the ball back. Just foul them again, get them that much closer to the double bonus, because especially with 4 minutes left, that's a lot of time for free throws potentially.
Yeah, and that is really uncharacteristic for Hastings to be giving up this many fouls here in one half. Pass couldn't be caught there by Baker. Luckily, that one wasn't going the other way.
Yeah, and it looks like, there's a three.
Three-pointer off of the glass there from McVicker.
The bank is open on Fridays. You wouldn't think Friday's this late, but it's definitely open.
And, you know, she was missing some shots earlier in this game, but they were good shots that just took an unlucky bounce. And obviously, you know,
there's nothing that gets you going more than first the shot that should have went in that doesn't go in, but then you got your bank shot that I assume she didn't call, but it still went in anyway, so I could get her going.
Swanson, who we have seen make a three, I believe, in that Tartan game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when she's open, she can pop out, especially when she has those bigger post defenders on her who give her some space, and if you give her some space, she will shoot that.
Well, that one nearly taken back the other way from Leo. It's still going to be a turnover as Wagner pulls off, not trying to draw a foul there.
Yeah, and the Raiders with 8 fouls, I think, in the Tartan game. They maybe had 2 or 3. So, especially in the first half, something that the Raiders should watch out for. That and just being in foul trouble in general. They have quite a few girls who stay on the floor for extended periods of time, like Emma Baker and McVicker and Haley Strain. If those players get in foul trouble, that could change the course of a game and the game plan.
Well, we'll take a look at the replay of the last scoring play for Hastings.
Knew it all the way. Got that side angle on the bank like Adam Sandler and Grown Ups. Saw it the whole way. Just bang.
Well, we got a timeout called here by South St. Paul. Unsurprisingly, it was not called out by Hastings. They love just holding on to their timeouts in case they need them at the end of a game. Yeah. Well, here's a look at the Metro East Conference standings. Why don't you walk me through that one? Yeah,
so once again, we have Hastings 2-0 in conference play, and they're sitting at the top with Matamidi right below us. They're also 2-0 in the conference. But then once again, we talked about North St. Paul 2-1. Their 1 being Hastings, and with that 10-2 record. So Hastings came in to play them, and they were, I believe, 10-1 when we played them, unless they were 9-1. But still, to pick up that win against a team that's that good is incredible. And then South St. Paul near the middle at 4-7 in the conference. So this would be a huge win, or 4-7 overall. But this would be a huge win for South St. Paul on the other side of that. It gets them some momentum in the conference, especially whenever you get a win against someone who's at the top of the conference.
Yeah, you know, that might have been a game for Hastings where you get up for that game. But this might be a game conversely where the Packers might get up because they're playing a good team like the Raiders were in their last game.
To make some noise, too, especially before playing other conference opponents, because these kids checking the standings all the time and wanting to climb up there, and this is a great way to do it, especially send a message to whoever's helping make the QRF rankings for sections.
Ball sliding out of bounds. Well, and how about this? On Wednesday, January 18th, the Raiders are traveling to Matamidi. So that's going to have huge implications, those two undefeated conference teams slugging it out.
Oh, yeah. No, that'll be a game to watch in the conference, especially if the Raiders can pull that out and remain undefeated in the conference, be 4-0. That would be an incredible start for a Raider team, one of the better starts that I've seen.
2-point attempt from Bauer. Dead center in between the lanes. Ball out of bounds, and it's going to go in favor of Hastings. 95 seconds to go here before halftime. Just a really good defensive game thus far by Hastings. Not quite the 10-point performance against Apple Valley, but that's certainly hard to follow up.
And on the flip side of that, they're still offensively haven't really turned it up like they're used to. So they've only scored 19, but they've only allowed 13. So if they can keep this defense up, they won't need to score much more to help win the game.
Strain loses the ball. Somehow that's kept in on that baseline, and a three-point shot, three-point make for Emma Baker.
Yeah, she hasn't really gotten going yet. If she can keep drilling them, and then also make Vicker get hot again, as long with Strain, who had 6 out of the first 8 points for the Raiders, that'd be huge.
Three-point response, nothing but net there for the sharpshooter Anna Squira.
Yeah, it looks like both teams getting going right before the half. I was wondering if they can carry that momentum and kind of get some more scoring.
Well, it's like homework or studying. You procrastinate until right before it's due.
Oh yeah.
Got to get all this scoring in here before halftime.
Yeah, gotta look for the over.
Three-point shot, a moving 2-point shot. We'll also take a look at some of the three-point shots here before the break. So we got a lot to look at the break.
Excited.
Well, and speaking of replays, we got a replay right here. It's going to be that three-point shot from Baker.
Yeah, and she just drilled that. Got it off the swing, kept in rhythm. Just drilled it right at the top of the key.
It's Rachel Notch at the line.
Yeah, some of the first free throws for the Raiders, I believe, too, who typically shoot pretty well, so it's kind of shocking that they haven't got to the line as much.
Looks like we'll have 2 or 3 players subbing in for this final stretch for Hastings. And Notch going 1 for 2 at the line.
Got the second one. Yeah, that makes it a 7-possession game. If they can keep it up defensively and get a stop here, going into the locker room at 3 possessions is really good momentum, especially coming into the second half.
10 seconds to go. Looks like the Packers might hold on to this one until the final shot. Johansson, underhanded put up, and second chance no good. So with that, we have reached halftime here from Hastings High School. It's a 23-16 lead for the Hastings Raiders over the South St. Paul Packers.
Yeah, that stop is huge, especially to keep it a 7-point game and get some momentum going in the locker room and knowing that we scored on that end and we stopped them on that end. Let's keep it going, especially in the next half.
Well, here's a look at some of the 3-point shots made here in the first half.
Tonight's halftime performances by the Hastings High School
I believe that was Anna Squira on that one, so yeah, should be exciting. With that, we'll send this off to halftime here on HCTV Sports. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to HCTV Sports. I'm Owen Ely here with Colby Zach. 23-16 game here between the Raiders and the South St. Paul Packers.
Yeah, 7-point game, like we said. It's good to always go into halftime with that, try to keep the momentum. But first, we have the highlight that we were talking about from the boys hockey game with Cody Niederkorn with the backhanded save that got picked up from Fox 9, NHL, ESPN, Talk of the Town. So we'll show that.
Vanderhoff has it. Good breakout pass. No turnover.
Oh, no.
3-0 coming in. Ryder, save. Oh, my God!
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Cody Niederkorn with the save of the century.
That's called the Vasilevsky. He literally practices this. Andre Vasilevsky for the Lightning do this.
Are you serious?
The pass that goes.
All Josh can do is laugh.
It is.
All he can do is laugh.
That's as good as it gets.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. And I mean, you know, one of the two-person breakaway, I mean, that's one of the highest percentage plays. If you like the shot, you can take it, especially when you have the goaltender beat like that. It's so hard to shift your body like that, and that's so creative too, because you know you got that right hand, you're holding the stick, you're not going to get it out in time. And I can't even imagine, I couldn't even make my body do that if I tried. I mean, moving to the right and then also moving your left hand back, and that is, at any level of at beer league level hockey, that is impressive.
I can't even sit crisscross applesauce comfortably. Nonetheless, do that. Do the splits while you're doing it is just the craziest thing I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I would just be getting into a car crash if that happened. I mean, both my Achilles are gone. I'm blowing out my knees.
But at least you get the highlight.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know. We'll have to ask Tuck if he's ever done something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure Tuck's got sneaky athleticism. Maybe he could pull that off.
Some story, yeah. Some things we don't know about. A lot of that, I guess a lot of his play was on camera. Maybe he's done the same thing.
Yeah, we don't know. We'll have to ask him. Well, back to action here. Second half underway. First shot of the second half, no good. Second chance,
Strain
solid there from Strain.
And we saw her get it going early in the first half. She had 6 of the first 8 Raider points, so maybe she starts off the second half, bringing the momentum in.
Here's the Packers looking for a response. Strain giving plenty of space there to Glory Johansson. Now there's Scarlett. Misses that shot. The rebound taken there by Strain.
Yeah, Raiders up 9. Now, if you can get it to double digits this early, the amount of momentum that gives, and also the heartbreak for the other team and just the climbing back from double digits it's a really tough thing to do even this early in the half.
Strain turns around, misses the shot. It's corralled in there by Cafflish. Pass a little too spicy, and we will get a stoppage here.
Yeah, and it looks like, I think that was a shooting foul. Strain, or no, underneath. So Strain won't go to the line, but she still draws the foul, which is always good this early to get a few of those on your side, especially in a game that you're winning and that you know that free throws might be a determining factor towards the end of the game.
Well, I'm excited to see what adjustments Hastings makes here in the second half, because whether or not it's halftime, as we'll get a shot missed there. Strain keeps it in, muscling her way.
Yeah, look at the rebounding by the Raiders, just crashing the board, using their size. Looks like we've got an injury.
That is Keegan McVicker, so that is, I mean, you never want to see anybody get injured, obviously, but that is best player on the court for either team. I was going to say, I'm curious to see what adjustments they make, because whether or not it's a timeout or it's halftime, they respond under Trent Hansen really, really well to, whatever message he's trying to put through. But obviously, this could put a damper on whatever adjustments.
Oh, yeah. And we're seeing right away the Raiders, I think one of the adjustments that he was probably talking about at halftime is hitting the boards and hitting the boards hard. We saw that one possession that just happened. 3 offensive boards by the Raiders. Something that where you miss a shot, you get another chance, then another chance, then another chance. Those add up, and see to make a shot eventually. But McVicker getting helped up into a round of applause. She'll sit on the end of the bench.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You hope that she's all right there. I mean, you don't want to speculate, but you hope maybe it's just a twisted something, or something that's not too significant.
Right, and now the Raiders are going to have to adjust with her on the end of the bench. And they get a cut right there. It's Natalie Kaplis. She has the great cut and then finishes right down the lane with easy score. And so now Raiders up 11 points. Now they got to play defense too.
And to kind of put a point on that rebounding talking point, is we'll get a missed 3-point shot there from the Packers. Everybody on the court for Hastings can rebound. I mean, even with their guards, they have pretty good size. It's kind of everybody. It's a team effort when it comes to rebounding and even passing. It seems like they practice passing a lot, because although sometimes it's a little too hard or a little off the mark, I mean they get some beautiful assists throughout the game.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of that too is just recognizing the defense that they're in, like they're man-to-man, woman-to-woman, whatever you want to call it. But you see a lot of give and goes now, just being able to pass it and then cut because there's no help coming from the other side. But there's the
3-point splash there from Lindsay Wagner.
Yeah, Lindsay taking advantage of them kind of playing off, gets the swing pass, drills it. So Raiders now up 14. They're on a 5-0 run now, I believe.
Looks like we're going to reach in there from Emma Baker.
Correction, they're actually on a 7-0 run, because we came out of halftime 23-16, so now 30-16. That's another huge thing too. You're up 7, you go on a 7-0 run, you've down doubled your lead at halftime, and Raiders got to be feeling good at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to jinx it too much, because I almost jinxed that Tartan game at the end.
Yeah, 20 or 22 points or something, and you mentioned how it should be over. They started climbing back, cut it to single digits, but luckily time ran out, so saved you on that one.
Inbound taken here along the near side. There's Johansson. Reuter defending. 3-point shot. Not enough power on it. Taken back and just swung wildly out of bounds.
Yeah, Raiders coming out firing on defense. They're kind of doing the opposite of what they're doing on offense, whereas offense, they're crushing the boards, getting those offensive boards. But now on defense, they're boxing out, making sure that they don't get those second chances that they are. So they're dominating the boards and dominating this half right now.
They created some space there with Kaplis. If she could have corralled that one in, maybe could have pumped up a 3-point shot. She has some space there on the far side. Here's Wagner, sends it in for Cheney, turning around, puts up the shot. Defensive rebound taken by Johansson. And that's Scarlett tripping up a little bit, loses the ball. Wagner, long pass to Strain. No points, but there is a foul.
Yeah, that's a great way to just advance the ball up. You see Haley Strain going up there in double coverage, basically, but 2 girls that are shorter than she is, she can go up like a tight end at the back of the end zone, and she's able to come down with it, just barely missed the layup, but she's got a chance for 2.
Yeah, that's such a good way to put it. I mean, tight end. I mean, it's Jimmy Graham-esque. I mean, funny. I mean, he was a basketball player before he went to football, but
yeah, good basketball player too. But I don't think he could be as good at any sport as he was at football. But
apparently, he's a pretty good pilot too. I didn't know that.
Maybe a dog pilot, that could be a sport. There's probably some flying for sports. Probably expensive. It's an expensive hobby to have, and you got to be really smart. Anyways,
another stoppage there from the Raiders. However, they are going to commit a foul.
That's one thing too for teams that are in those shooting slumps. As we see, South St. Paul hasn't scored yet in the half. So what do? They go get aggressive, get to the line, and shoot 2 uncontested shots, whether they go in or not. But you just see. It is a free throw, it is 1 point, but you just see the ball going through the hoop, and that alone gives you confidence for the next possession.
That is very true, and every point counts just as much as any other. And Keegan McVicker has been sent off to the locker room, so we'll let you know if we see anything.
Right, and that's a big, big loss for the Raiders. She's consistently led the Raiders in points. There is a few other Raiders over double digits, but she has been able to take over games, not just with her offense, but with her defense. So it'll be interesting to see how these Raiders adjust in a 12-point game.
Pass bobbled, taken here by the Packers. Johansson with some speed, sends it off for her teammate. Off of back iron, off of rim.
Yeah, that's that rim that we saw earlier. McVicker had a deep three that just looked like it was in, but rolled out. Maybe that one a little tighter than the other one.
Turnover there for Hastings.
That's another thing, too. McVicker's really good at caring for the ball, making sure they don't pick up those turnovers and making sure that they'll get a shot somewhere or another. So it'll be interesting to see who kind of takes over the helm there and protects the ball.
Oh, three-point shot off of glass there for number 30, Alyssa Leos.
The bank is out. That's the second banked three that we've seen. You don't see that too often. Neither of them were straight on either. One of them was from the wing, and one was kind of between the wing and the corner. That was an interesting shot. Still counts for three nonetheless.
Baker to Kaflish to Notch to Wagner. Three-point shot. No good. Offensive rebound. The shot pumped up there by number 32, Kate Reuter.
Yeah, and the Raiders, big defensive possession here.
Contested three-point shot and dead center there for the Packers.
Yeah,
and Anasquera.
That defensive possession did not last too long as they hit that three. That's, like I said, they started with those 2 free throws to kind of get it going on the run, and then they hit the first three, as we're seeing right here. The bank on the top of the glass, just like she called it, right, going in on the top corner, and then coming down again. Another one. How do you get back in the game? Points. Another point. 3 points, 3 points, 2 free throws. 8-0 run for the Packers right now. That's how you get back in the games, these runs.
And I love that banked three. I mean, you know, you don't see a lot of that in this era. I mean, you know, what's next? Are we going to see a sky hook or something?
Skyhook, kind of honor Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as his points record might get beaten pretty soon. Some of the girls get some points off of that. That would be interesting. But there's Trent Hansen coaching the girls, calling that timeout, cutting that run, seeing if he can reduce it, and then have the Raiders come back out. Yeah, and as you can see, the bench or the stadium system kind of went down at Hastings, so there's a little different seating arrangement. You see the wrestling mats behind there, and it's not all the way up connected. Usually it's right behind or right in front of us, but it's a little bit farther away. So we're kind of on an island, which is unfortunate. We don't get to interact as much, but it'll happen.
Well, back to action off of the timeout from Hastings. Both teams with 4 remaining, so they've been pretty judicious about using it. Three-point shot from Swanson. Probably wants that one back.
Oh, great
smacked back in. Wow, that's saving an offensive possession here for Hastings.
That was Kate Reuter with the hustle down there. Saw the shot not going the way that Raiders quite wanted, and then just went and go get it. That's some heart right there.
That's a Pat Bev play right there. Three-point shot. I mean, talk about being unlucky. That one goes in and out.
Yeah, it's Emma Baker who drilled one last half too. Looks like she's carrying on the confidence. But yeah, both teams at this point are just chucking up threes, waiting for one to go in. I'm not sure that that's how the Raiders are gonna win the game. Yes, they've hit a few, but where they're really making their money is down low on those rebounds and those easy pass buckets.
Got to scramble for the ball. Eventually we'll get a whistle here. Yeah, and it just kind of seems like both of these teams pumping up threes, you're kind of randomizing the game. Like it obviously takes skill to make a three, but
we saw that just in and out, just exactly like McVicker's three at the start of the half, where it looks like it's good for a good second, and then just rolls right out. It's just an unlucky turn on a shot.
Yeah, I mean, there's times during those shots that if we could freeze the frame, you would be absolutely certain that ball is going in.
Oh, yeah. There's another foul coming on the Raiders. That'll be their 4th of the half, which, again, we talked about earlier. The Raiders, typically a clean team, don't commit as many fouls, especially this early. There's 11:41 left on the clock, but 4 fouls already. So I'm interested to see if Coach Hansen makes any adjustments with that.
Well, and it's interesting, and I don't just say this, but this is a very deep team with a lot of players that can help out as McVicker is walking her way back on the track. We'll see if she comes back into the game or if she's just back to watch. But
yeah, she's not walking with any help, too, which is good. Has another three-pointer by the Pack. That's 3 threes in a row by South St. Paul.
But this is a team that has been led by McVicker. It's a very deep team with a bunch of good players, but only one leader.
Right. Yeah, kind of the glue that holds this team together. So, there's an animal. Just
Foul and the points.
And that's when you need girls like Emma Baker to step up and take over a game. And it looks like she had that 3 that we saw that just rolled out. Now she's driving and she gets that and 1. But yeah, you see McVicker on the sideline. She's walking without help, and she's not wearing any ice or stuff. Looks like she's rehabbing that leg a little bit. So good signs for the Raiders.
And she was just jumping up and down, testing out how the bounce feels. So I think at some point we'll see her back. But this 2 points now make that 3 really helps kind of stop the bleeding here.
Oh yeah. Especially you have 3 straight 3-pointers. Maybe you can't get it going shooting, but you still want some type of 3-pointer. That's how you're going to do it. Drive and look for that foul and knock the free throw in. It's a way to stop the run.
Well, the Packers looking to keep the pressure on here. Some tight defense here from Hastings, forcing the turnover. Reuter up to Strain, spinning around, puts up the shot. A little off the mark there.
South St. Paul wants an offensive foul for a little check or an elbow or whatever it was, but no call down there.
Swanson to Strain, using her size, misses it. Offensive rebound, and
now she gets it to go. It's got to get in sooner or later, as long as she keeps getting those boards. Maybe she just wants a little more rebounds at the box score, but either way, 2 points for the Raiders. They're back up 8.
Yeah, maybe pulling a Baron Davis or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the lead's back to 8, so on the doorstep of double digits, but certainly feels like the momentum is still a little bit on the side of the Packers as they'll miss that turnaround shot. Shallow 3, now back towards the Raiders logo. Pulling it back is Squira off to Johansson.
It'll be interesting to see South St. Paul's offensive strategy now, because obviously they're hot. They've hit 3 in a row. But draws another foul, too. That's 5 on Hastings with 9 minutes and 43 seconds left. That's a huge foul. Only 2 more until they're in bonus and they're shooting free throws the rest of the way.
And only 3 for the Packers, so there could be, if the fouls keep up at this pace, I mean, it could be a couple of minutes where they're at the bonus advantage as that ball finds its way out onto the track.
Yeah, and another 3 attempted. They're hot. They've made 3 in a row, but as soon as you get a few of those that fall short or like don't hit the rim or the backboard, it does take a lot of confidence away from that offense.
And a player
that's
thudding
6
on the ground.
6 fouls for the Raiders.
Well, and I mean, these fouls are so important for the Packers, a team that tonight hasn't really proven that they can score down low. They can hit some threes, but they're not really beating you down low, but they're just getting, all the points in between the meaty threes at the line.
Exactly.
Scramble.
And that's a great way to come back in a game. It gets, foul on.
Again on Hastings.
The Raiders, yeah. So it looks like that'll actually send her to the line, if I'm not mistaken, but it looks like they're going to take it out down low.
So that's 7 fouls in like 45 seconds.
Or
3 fouls in 45 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, but that's also 7 fouls in the half already. And very, very rarely do you see this that early. And once again, we'd like to thank Hastings Public House, Memories Made Local, for helping sponsor this and helping to broadcast this and get the Raiders on so people can tune in from their homes.
Well, that foul officially puts the Packers in the bonus. That pass to nobody, kept in bounds by Jackson.
And then a late over and back call. Maybe the other referee thought it was tipped or something, but they do end up getting that call. And that free throw game is a big thing that we talked about. It's that 1-1. They missed the first one. Some momentum. There's some fans watching. There's old Principal Johnson again tuning into the game, watching the Raiders. As they're up 8, I mean, they went into the half up 7 still and went on that run, and then South St. Paul came right back. There's another easy layup.
Johansson.
From Johansson.
Swanson looking to pass to that far side instead. She'll work her way to the far side. Hear that wing bounce pass.
Oh, backdoor cut.
Reuter holds onto the ball and puts it in. Very easily could have been deflected out of bounds with some strong hands.
Great, smart cut, too. She saw her defender being a little lazy and just watching the ball, and she went right behind her. Took her a little bit to get the ball. Once she did, she put it in.
And a missed 2-point shot there from Lauren Bauer, just a few inches off the mark. There's Swanson with speed, another bounce pass, the shot and the and one.
That's back-to-back buckets for Kate Reuter. First she got that give and go, that laid it right in, and then now she gets some confidence using that size and being able to get the easy bucket and also drawing the foul. It's huge for the Raiders. And there's her, that's that give and go. She fumbles it, but still with a weird angle, able to put it up and easily get it in for the Raiders. So that brings the lead back to double digits and puts her at the line for one.
So just about everybody getting it done for the Raiders at some point during this game, and this is certainly Reuter's minute here.
And as we talked about, South St. Paul cut it to as many as 6, I believe. And so to come back and have somebody step out, the question's always been who's going to fill in for McVicker. It's been kind of all of them playing as one unit, and that's what you want to see, especially when your best player's gone.
Bauer right-handed shot, no good. The Raiders holding strong here on defense. A high pass, a missed shot there from Reuter, and Reuter will head to the line. So the fouls are slowly but surely, maybe not so slowly the last couple of minutes, racking up here for the Packers as well.
Yeah, there has been a lot of fouls in the past few minutes from either team, and that's something where if you're coming back in a game, fouling will kill you, but also if you're trying not to get the comeback happen to you, you don't want to foul them either because that gives them easy looks. Now kind of both is happening to both teams.
And it looks like we will have a timeout called on the court, an official's timeout.
Yeah, appears there's something on the court, blood or something, but
well, we'll take a look at the next broadcast. It's going to be boys hockey. It's going to be the Simley Spartans and the Hastings Raiders on January 17th, 7:30. A little bit late of a start there for my liking, but that's going to be at the Hastings Civic Arena. And maybe we'll see another Sports Center top 10 save. I mean, you never know. I mean, that's an option now.
Yeah, so you better tune in to HCTV because you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss when it's going live. So you can see the highlights the next day on all those, but nothing like watching it live and then telling everyone yourself.
That's so true. I mean, you don't want to be the guy who sees it on social media, so you got to tune into that live. I mean, it's like Steph. You got to tune into Steph in his prime.
Speaking of Steph, you got some younger kids out here. It's kind of Steph's changing the generation of basketball a little bit. You see those youth highlights of kids draining them from downtown. You love to see it. They love cheering him on. He's got the Steph Curry shorts right there. But yeah, 39-29 Raiders. Defensive performance, too, letting up 30 points at this point. They have to be pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, we'll see those kids on the court 12 years from now. We'll be here in, what year is it? 2035, and we'll be calling them.
Oh, yeah. And Tom Brady will still be a quarterback in the playoffs.
Oh, he certainly will. Also, Steph Curry has kind of ruined, in a way, modern basketball because so many kids with 18% three-point shooting ability are bricking threes, but he has changed the game nonetheless.
Yeah, well, there's about 1 out of 50 that are making him pretty consistently, and that makes all of them look pretty cool. So,
and you got to make your threes. You don't want to turn out like Nick Young, and celebrate before you make the three. Well, we're back from the officials' timeout. The court is scrubbed of whatever was on it. Raiders with their biggest lead of the game. Another foul, though, on the Raiders.
Yeah, South St. Paul stands really cheering for that one. They've kind of been a little displeased with some of the non-fouls that were coming from the other end around Haley Strand, who's making room for herself, but they get one here, and now it's 8 on Hastings.
Wagner checking in for Hastings. Still no sighting of Keegan McVicker on the court.
Yeah, it looks like she's been walking up and down the sidelines. We're going to take a seat right next to Coach Hansen right there. Maybe rehabbing a little bit before she tries to get in, or maybe the Raiders continue their lead and maybe she doesn't have to get in. I think that's best case.
Well, Johansson with a full steam ahead. That one deflected out of bounds.
And that's going and going. That's one of the things about the Raider arenas. You have the multiple courts lined up. So if one gets past those bleachers, that ball is not going to stop rolling.
Yeah, you cannot jog to get that ball. You got to sprint to get it. Otherwise, you're jogging all the way to the end.
Yeah, and that's a lot more running, too, especially at the second half of the game.
We need one of those kids down there to shag the ball.
Yeah, ball chaser.
I mean, what are they doing? Just doing Fortnite dances up there? I mean,
yeah, that's all kids do these days, is Fortnite dances.
I mean, maybe we can compromise. Maybe they can Fortnite dance their way to get the ball, and everybody wins.
A little gritty on the way, never hurt anybody.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyways, down low, Haley Strain with another bucket.
12-point lead here for Hastings. Time running out for the Packers. Missed shot there from Johansson, but another foul on the Raiders, one away from the double bonus.
And that's one of the things we talked about, too, against Tartan. You have one of those leads like this, and the team doesn't necessarily go on a run, but you still maintain like a 10 or an 8 to 10-point lead and just keep it just out of reach, because the Raiders, they're not looking to necessarily get up by a lot more, but looking to hold their lead, whereas South St. Paul, they're scoring, but the Raiders on the other end are scoring too. So blow for blow, the Raiders are liking how this pace is going right now.
Yeah, seems like the pace the last handful of games have been in favor of Hastings. I mean, especially that weird pacing in the Tartan game where the Raiders were the ones up with the lead, having 2-second possessions, and Tartan was having, minute-long possessions.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too. If you typically play slower, it is a lot harder to come back when you're down, just because more possessions or less possessions means more time used per possession. It's just a lot harder to get those points from those fewer possessions to come back.
And Swanson's going to head to the line. Another foul here on the Packers. That's going to put the Raiders in the bonus.
Yep, so now free throws for the Raiders, too, are becoming a huge factor on both ends. I mean, they're looking to play a little more conservative defense, especially because now South St. Paul's in the double bonus. They're going to get 2 shots every time that they get fouled. And as opposed to the Raiders, who are now in the bonus, too, they still get 1-and-1 with 6 minutes left. So
Swanson, 1 for 1, or 1 for 1.
And it looks like she'll get pulled out and replaced. And it looks like the Raiders now are in a 2-3 defense, which is switching it up a little bit before, which is interesting because 2-3 defenses typically allow more 3-point shots, whether it's at the wing or the corner. So if South St. Paul can light it up again, but Raiders get a steal there, so it looks like it's working, just as change of defense.
Baker off to Notch, passing around Johansson. Will get a whistle, likely a foul committed on Strain, so she will.
Yeah, down to Strain, she's done a great job conserving the basketball and not allowing turnovers. Like the first half, we saw the Raiders turn the ball over quite a bit, but now being able to hold it, being able to draw a foul, being able to get a bucket or pass it out, anything's better than a turnover. And so we're seeing her do that and kind of step up in that way, and that's really been helping the Raiders.
Strain misses the first of a 1-and-1, so Packers coming back. Yeah, it is interesting when you talk about the pros and cons of a 2-3 and, this team not really beating you down low, but kind of beating you at times shooting the 3.
Right.
It's not like they have a dominant big.
Yeah, which is interesting. And it worked the first possession really well, but as you could see, they were able to exploit a gap and then put it right to the middle for the easy bucket. So I'm wondering Wondering why they kind of veered away, but if it works, I mean, it works. There's Strain again down low. It's giving yourself chance after chance.
Ball nearly swept back in from Strain. But it is going to go the way of the Packers. Yeah, I don't know if Strain maybe needs to
Looks like
settle
Vicker
down a
is
little.
coming back in.
Well,
For
that
the Raiders,
is
that's
huge.
a huge addition, especially now that South St. Paul cut it to a 9-point lead.
I don't know what your take is on this. I don't know if Strain needs to settle down when she's taking those shots because she's missing a lot of those shots point blank. Now, granted, she's getting a lot of those rebounds.
Right.
But she does have the size. You know, it's not like she's undersized where she's going to have to, be so much quicker than whoever's defending her.
There's McVicker all the way. As soon as she comes back in, just gets the bucket. But yeah, Strain, I think, just doesn't realize the height that she has on the opponents that she does. So if she just, takes it slower, takes a few more dribbles, gets a little closer and not rush it, I think it'll just shoot a lot higher percentage.
Wagner with the ball, spinning around, looks to pass, open. 3-point shot miss, rebound, and the 2-point putback there from Rachel Notch.
Little look what I found kind of rebound from Rachel Notch, and she's able to convert on that. Timeout South St. Paul, so Raiders going to this timeout up 13 with 4 minutes and 15 seconds.
Well, everything is going the way of the blue and gold as we'll take a look at the last bucket here from McVicker.
Coming out from injury, blows by her woman, steps around the screen looking to take the charge and gets the bucket. As a Raider fan, you love to see that, especially when you're holding your breath when she's out and when she's on the end of the bench.
Well, Hastings now with McVicker back and, the defense holding up, and now they're in the bonus. I mean, they have a 13-point lead. I mean, they have the Packers on the ropes.
Right, all they have to do at this point is just continue the way that they have been playing, because South St. Paul has made a few runs, but they still haven't really gotten within striking distance. So if they just play the defense that they have been and scored the way that they have been, now they're in that bonus. It should look a lot better for them. And now it looks like, interesting enough, they're shifting into a 1-3-1 from that 2-3 zone. So Trent Hansen was playing man-to-man defense the whole game, or woman-to-woman, but now going to a 2-3 and then all of a sudden a 1-3-1 just in the last few minutes.
And Wagner checking out. Looks like she got hit in the face and is bleeding, so she's running back to the locker room as we're going to have another official's timeout to maybe clean up a few drops there on the court.
Yeah, and it looks like that's the second time assuming the other stoppage was also for blood. And some, they say no blood, no fouls. So got some tough girls out here.
Well, if there is something, it's not much.
Yeah, just some great cleaning form. Just put the rubbing alcohol on it, reaching the clean nets, apply just enough pressure to where it still moves freely, but also gets the stain out. So you love to see that out of the trainer. Well,
good work there. I mean, largely not an issue until somebody slips and sprains an ankle or something.
Oh yeah. But yeah, after that stoppage too, it's not another official timeout. So a team like this that's down 13, who could use all the timeouts that they have, that's good for them. Stop the Raider run that they were on, even after their timeout, little extra break.
Oh, there's a shot of some fans watching from the upper railings. That's the former baseball head coach here for Hastings. Watching a lot of former coaches in the audience here tonight.
Yeah, they're taking note of this undefeated conference girls team who's 2-0, looking to be 3-0 right now. Because anyone would like to start that way. Maybe see how they're doing. Maybe see how Trent Hansen's rallying the girls.
A little extra contact there. Likely going to be a foul here on Hastings.
But yeah, there's Lindsey Wagner going back to the locker room with, it appears just a bloody nose, but those things can get out of hand quickly.
Yeah, and you got to get them under control because they're not going to let you back on the court if you got a bloody nose, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it might be a little intimidation factor, but won't last very long. I said, South St. Paul has been at the line quite a bit in this half, but it just free throws have been quite an issue for them this half. It would at least be a single-digit game if they made, I would say, 60% of their free throws, 70 maybe, but that's something that I'm guessing the coach will want to work on after this.
I mean, so many games come down to free throws because if you make them, they're fine, but if you don't make them, that's free points.
Yeah, especially
on
when you work so hard to draw the foul. And you go to the line, you take a deep breath. Maybe you missed a shot, missed the N1, but you still got to work for those free throws. You got to make them. But South St. Paul will get the ball back, 12-point game with 3.5 minutes left.
Well, we had Kaflish there. I think she thought she was going to inbound the ball from the baseline. Instead, it's going to go here for the Packers. Down low, short corner near the baseline. Pass intercepted from Kaflish.
But yeah, you see McVicker at the back of that 1-3-1, as we talked about, kind of the glue of the Raiders offensively and defensively.
Rebound stripped away from Reuter.
Lindsay
Wagner's
running
back.
in. She's got the old cloth in her nose. Stop the bleeding. She's ready to go.
Well, I don't know if the team's going to need her with this 12-point lead, but it's always nice to have options.
Yeah, you always hope, even with McVicker. I'm glad she's back. The Raiders, South St. Paul cut it down to as much as 6, but the Raiders, without McVicker, kind of climbed back and then got it back up to 13 and sitting at 12 right now. So it's just a good showing of determination through the other Raiders.
You know, and if you didn't know that McVicker got hurt earlier in this game, you wouldn't really notice. I mean, she's not limping that much. I mean, she's playing, you know, just as well as she did before that collision. So that's an awesome sign.
Yeah, that's great for the Raiders. It looked like something of an ankle. Maybe she tweaked her ankle a little bit. Maybe go to the athletic trainer, tape it up, come back. We could see her jumping, doing those ankle exercises. So the fact that she's already ready to go back to this game, maybe it has something to do with adrenaline, but hoping that she'll be able to continue to play, and especially against Montemita coming up.
Well, and we knew she was good right away because she got the ball on her first possession, sprinted down the court, made the bucket, and, you know, there was a collision, so she got knocked down on that play. So
and she was able to spring back up, too. Yeah, here she was controlling the ball.
Looking pretty good. Ball handling, three-point shot. Offensive rebound by Kaflish. Got a Packers player hitting the deck.
Another foul sending straight into the line, I believe. Or it'll be, it should be bonus. So, yep, should be at the line. Yeah, she didn't realize that she was already ready for the inbounds play, but she's like, now we're going to give you a chance to get some points here. So, yeah, I'll take that.
An even 2:30 to go here in regulation. Just free throw there.
Looks like it was on the shot rather than on the ground, so she will get those 2 shots rather than the 1-1.
And she misses both. 2-on-2. Packers with speed. Johansson settling it down. Pass nearly taken back the other way by Wagner.
Yeah, and the Raiders applying a lot of pressure still, making South St. Paul shoot up that kind of shot, which is what they want. And there's another foul down low. So the Raiders just giving South St. Paul chance after chance to get back in this game through free throws. Another thing about that, too, is it stops the clock. So you're able to get those 2 shots without having to worry about time coming off. So that's another big thing about the Raiders. Might want to be cautious, especially in double bonus.
And this is just so weird, too, because if you've watched any of their other 12 games before this, this is so uncharacteristic. I mean, we've never seen them this year in this type of foul trouble. Really, in the, you know, it's not like them any season to foul a bunch, but I mean, they've played some of the cleanest games I've seen.
Clean as a whistle, yeah. But then all of a sudden, I mean, might have to do too is switching the defenses, maybe a little confusion, bail yourself out, especially when South St. Paul isn't shooting quite as well from the free throw line, so you know it's better than an easy layup, but yeah, still just uncharacteristic.
McVicker, 3-point shot, airballs that out of bounds.
Yeah, and that's something on the flip side, the Raiders, who now only have a single-digit lead, look, kind of forced that 3 up when, once again, there's no shot clock. Could have taken that back and taken a few more seconds off the clock. Look at that travel. Moved her pivot foot up there on the top of the key. So that's another easy give back from South St. Paul, and especially with that momentum, you cut it to single digits, and the Raiders fouling the way they are, you'd think you get a few more free throws, but just an unforced turnover.
Well, a free possession here for Hastings. We'll see what they can do with it. And like you just alluded to, there's no shot clock, so I mean, you know, you could hold on to the ball for the rest of the game if you wanted to. I don't submit to you that they're going to do that, but you could.
The opposite of that, actually. Shooting the first shot that they can, and I mean, the last two Raider possessions have been one pass and then an airballed three, so it's something that they should definitely consider, especially now.
Three-point shot there with Baker's arm right in their face.
So now it's a 6-point game. You look back at those threes and you kind of regret it.
And they turn it over right there. All right, now this game gets a little interesting here.
Yeah, so South St. Paul back with the ball, down 6. A minute 16 still. Not a lot of time, but just the amount of momentum that they have, especially from that. Steps up, buries it. And they've had a lot of swishes, too. Seems like every three that's been made today has either been a swish, something that rolls right around, or an air ball. No in between.
Oh, that's a very good point. I mean, we have not seen them just hold on to the ball and really take their time, but I don't mean to be, like, facetious, but, like, do they know that that's an option, that they could just hold on to the ball? And I mean, kudos to them, because they play to play.
Right.
You know, they play to put points on the board. They don't play, you know, against the spirit of the game by just holding on to the ball. But that you could have a 40-second possession and really take your time here and kind of close out this game. But
and I think a lot of it is they just play so fast normally, so that's what they're used to. Just push it up, look for the open woman, But now when you're up, settle back, run some of the plays that you practice all the time, swing it around a little bit. Maybe not, even if there is an open three, that typically, oh yeah, we'll take that. Swing it around a little bit more. Look for a more open shot, whether it be a layup or just a higher percentage shot inside. But it's just not what we've seen in the past few possessions.
I would love to see Hastings put on a press after the next possession, just because they haven't done it all game. So, you know, maybe it catches them off guard and it allows you to get 2 or 3 scores before they can do anything about it. There's just a lot of commotion there right in front of that Packers bench.
Yeah, it looks like another trap. Raiders trap. South St. Paul first got the ball. Lindsey Wagner kind of in the corner, but then gets trapped again and turns it back over to South St. Paul. So, but now both those possessions have wasted some time off the clock. Maybe it's only 15 seconds, but in a game with a minute.
Wide open three-point shot. They couldn't get the rebound, and the foul, and Wagner cannot believe it.
Yeah.
Look at her expression right there. Yeah, this.
Another foul. They've been well over 10 for the last. It might be at 13 or 14 by now, but yeah, just another play inside where they have the size too down low. Just put your hands up, make the shot a lot tougher than it has to be. Even it seemed interesting that they let up that open three right away. You're down only 2 possessions if both of them are threes, but
I mean, the game is still squarely in the favor of the Hastings Raiders. You just can't panic here. And
there is more than 4 seconds, correct?
Yeah, I believe it's 48 seconds.
Okay, I was gonna say.
So yeah, that is the error, not on our end.
Yeah, so we HCTV, we take our scoreboard from the actual scoreboard, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but the scoreboard here is displaying 4 seconds, 0.8, so 4.8 seconds, but it should be, as we were talking about, they just changed it. So it went from 4.8 seconds to 48 seconds, 6-point game, South St. Paul at the line.
I mean, personally, I'm okay with there being 4.8 seconds left. If they want to do that, that's fine.
Sure.
I don't have any objections.
All the Raiders are too, as long as whatever happens here, maybe she can do some Luke or Donovan Mitchell action and get the ball back. But that's another thing about those free throws. They're going to look back at the stat sheet attempting probably close to 20 free throws, and I'm not sure if they made 10. So that's another game changer too. You have those easy shots and you just can't convert.
No, that's such a good point. I mean, if they're shooting 20%, 15% better, I mean, you know, they're winning right now. It's the Raiders.
Yeah, the entire course of the game has changed.
Full court press. They need to get that inbound in, and they did not get it in time, so that's a free possession for the Packers off of the turnover.
Yeah, I think that's 3 turnovers in a row on offense for the Raiders.
You just got to get that in somehow, some way. Inbounded, quick trigger, 3-point shot, defensive rebound.
Everybody on the Raiders side was holding their breath when that was going up, because that makes it a 2-point game, and especially fouling and going back to the line. Huge difference. So this puts a lot on Haley Strain going to the line, or Emma Baker going to the line. Because if she makes both of these, then it's that 3-possession game with 42 seconds. Not a lot of teams come back from that. And she is shooting 1-1 because South St. Paul has 9 fouls. So.
And that one, another unfortunate bounce, a double team down low. They'll pull back. Hard pass from Bauer, back to Bauer, thought about taking a 3-point shot, driving in, sends it off to a teammate, far side, 3-point shot! The bank is open! Oh boy.
Now they drew it up again, just under the wing by the corner. The impossible angle is able to hit the corner of the square and then put it in. Watch this. A great kick out though, the awareness to have that. You couldn't even see it bank off. It must have been close to the corner of the backboard, but a make is a make.
Just a claymore there from that far side.
Oh, right on the top of the corner. You very often do not see shots quite like that, but just the calculated. She might grow up to be a geometry major or something with those kind of angles, but able to put it in regardless and bring it to a 2-point game.
Yeah, what is Coach Isaac Douglas teaching this Packers team? I mean, they're elite at shooting 3-pointers off of glass. I mean, it's there. You might as well use it, I guess, is their thought.
Well, old school. Yeah, it's been open all day today. We had McVicker with one earlier. That's 3 bank threes. Usually you don't bet on seeing one in a game, but interesting to see 3. But even with that, now South St. Paul down to within 2 from the Raiders, which they haven't been all half, and I'm not sure they have been in the second half of the first half. It's been very close to all games, so now they're within striking distance.
And how important is the Packers only having 9 fouls, because you kind of have a foul to give. Do have some sort of stoppage here on the court.
Looks like another clock issue. But yeah, here's the big play just to get it in right there. So South St. Paul looks like they're not going to foul until the Raiders get it across. Now they'll foul Lindsay Wagner and send her to the line. So now pressure's on Lindsay. So now that 10th foul made it double bonus. So she will get 2 shots here. And both of these huge shots, because one of them makes it a 3-point game, and then another one makes it a 2-possession game. So especially with 20 seconds.
And very impressive for the Raiders to break the press. I mean, presses can be broken. They're not unbeatable, but especially when it's the end of the game, all the momentum's on one side. You had that unforced, or, well, however you want to put it, error of not inbounding the ball in time. I mean, everything, they're getting closer and closer, and you just settle down and get the ball in and break the press.
She misses them both. So huge possession for South St. Paul. This could be the game. But
tipped away.
Great play by Lindsay Wagner.
Fight for the ball, out of bounds, and the refs are deliberating. They're going to give it to the Packers. If only we had instant replay. Oh, wait, we do. You be the judge here.
I think they made the right call there. I think it, at the end, went off Lindsay Wagner, who made a great play, by the way, able to go in and bat that down. Not only does that just help for getting some momentum, but also there's only 9 seconds left now. So they're going to have to go down the court in 9 seconds, which is plenty of time typically, but you might not be able to get the shot that you're used to or shot that you're looking for. There it is again. It's close. It all depends on whether Lindsay Wagner touched it before or at the end part. It looked like she did, but that angle, it's very, very hard to tell. But the ref was right there, so I assume that they got a good look at it.
Bang, bang, play. And props to Trent Hansen, because this is exactly why you don't use a bunch of timeouts, if any, in the first half. Because now, if you want, after every other play, you can call a timeout and talk it over and make sure, you know, exactly what you want to happen happens.
Yeah, just stop it. 'Cause, I mean, you never want teams to come back, especially when you have a lead that's up to, say, 13 or 15, but you can't put it out. You always have to expect that this team, maybe they weren't shooting as well. Maybe they'll come back, or in the Raiders' case, shooting well combined with all the free throws.
I mean, this wouldn't be the biggest comeback of all time, but it would be one heck of a comeback if the Packers pulled this out. They'll have to inbound it, swings it. It's recovered there by Johansson, running out of time, and they'll turn the ball over. Kaflish is fouled under a second to go.
0.5 seconds, so the Raiders all giving a big sigh of relief. South St. Paul wanted a foul down there. Either way, it looked like both girls were fighting for the ball, so it was more of a toss-up. And yeah, down low, as you can see, some contact down there, look, kind of from both sides, so it's hard to call. And I mean, they kind of put themselves in a situation like that to where the play didn't necessarily go the way they wanted. Maybe they didn't make a play. Like Doc Rivers has said, he said you never want to put the game in the hands of the officials, so you can't really complain after for whatever happens. And right there, they didn't quite execute properly. 50-50, maybe it could have been a foul, but the fact that it got there in the first place is not where you want it. So makes a free throw there, and Raiders will go up 3 with 0.5.
And this is huge. If they make this free throw here, you don't have to do anything. You could have all of your defense stand on the sidelines. They could make a 3-point shot. The only way you get in is a 4-point play.
Yeah.
So you could, if you wanted to be really cool, you could just everybody sit on the ground. If they make a 3-pointer and you make this free throw, it doesn't matter.
Line up to shake hands. Just wait for it while they inbound it. But that still, as the South St. Paul team, who has made a lot of threes in this second half, I've never put it out against them. So as you can see, the Raiders, they're flushing out the lane, so they have 4 girls at half court, kind of waiting, anticipating for a long pass and a kind of viable 3-pointer.
Free throws up, no good. And that one not even close, as the Raiders will defeat the Packers 48-45. They will remain undefeated in Metro East Conference play.
Wow, what a finish from the Raiders. Just to not continue on their path that they were. They had 3 straight turnovers as South St. Paul was coming back, but they stayed resilient and they got the plays that they needed to at the end of the game. And despite the score, it might look a little weird on the stat sheet, a team like this, but they were up big. South St. Paul came back, but Raiders were able to hold their lead and get a win. And that says a lot about the character of these girls.
This is a resilient team. There's no question about that. They adapt and they overcome. So with that, we'd like to shout out Hunter Pinky, Owen Ely, Colby Zach, Ian Andrasick, and Will Saline. The Raiders defeating the Packers 48-45 here on HCTV Sports.